Yeah, I have a boyfriend. That's all.
Whoa.
Okay. I don't know if you've told us that yet.
You haven't even said that to us.
Yeah, he's my boyfriend.
Live on the pod, she just
Wow.
says it.
You all know I have a
So
boyfriend.
Lauren.
We did it.
No, we did not
Officially.
know. You have to
They-
communicate these things, Lauren. You can't just like assume that we're gonna figure it out. Hello and welcome to the Christians Who Date podcast. I'm sitting here with two of my favorite people. One has a green sweatshirt on.
Are you wanting me to introduce myself?
Yes.
I'm Lauren Vernique from LA, California.
And Andrea, what am I wearing? Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. My other favorite person is wearing a denim dress. Very cute, Cal. I actually
Thank
think you were
you.
wearing overalls for a sec.
I thought
But-
you was overalls as well. So
I
I was
know.
wow.
It's usually my staple these days, but nope. It is a dress, a denim dress.
Is it warm enough to wear a dress over there?
It's 60 degrees, so it's basically summer.
Ooh, that's
out.
good. Wait, Kalli, did
Wow.
you say your name?
Kalli Christopherson
Oh, thank
From-
goodness.
Bozeman, Montana.
Which
Yep.
we are going to in
So
a month.
soon.
We bought the tickets.
Yes,
So-
we did. Also, I feel like we should tell the people that we just signed up for a year of our subscription to keep doing this podcast.
We're committed. We're locked in.
Yeah, we basically just DTR'd this podcast.
It's not a fling anymore.
It's
I
not-
know.
It's
Literally.
not a fling.
No one can touch my Thursday nights, literally. I'm like, I'm taking everybody out of my life. Only Kalli and Andrea on Thursday nights. And then I was like, oh, I guess another year of being friends with you all.
I loved that text.
I don't have any other choice.
I've paid the $73, so
I have subscribed to this friendship.
in
I already
it.
have plans for our like retirement home together, so I hope you're in it for another year at least.
Exactly. Andrea's always trying to buy time with us. No joking. I can't even
Yeah.
say it. I can't even say it.
Constantly.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous. Whatever. We all like literally last week were saying that we would not do a podcast because I was in Indiana with family, and we all did like an hour FaceTime together just to chat. And during our
It's
time,
true.
so I was like, okay, obviously we can't get away from each other.
Withdrawals.
We
Yeah.
always have time zones though, so it's so funny. The admin in me is like, okay, Kalli at this time, Lauren.
You
at
were
this
on the
time,
same as me, right?
Andrea. No, I was still
She's an hour ahead of you.
ahead of you.
Oh, you were an hour ahead. Oh, I didn't
Yeah, I was an
realize
hour
that.
ahead of
Okay.
you. That's okay. We figured it out.
Oh, we figured it out.
Yeah.
But now you're back in LA.
Yeah, back in LA.
She's back.
Hitting up Starbucks this morning.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I messaged you all about so dear people listening to our lovely little podcast. Happy May 1st, by the way. I can't believe we're here.
Thank you.
Celebrate May.
So I was running into Starbucks because I had to get my spinach feta wrap and my cold brew before a class because I was so hungry. I'd coached 2 classes and then I was going on to another class. And then I was quickly just grabbing my stuff, and there was some dad, and I don't know, this is so bad, but he was like wearing dad clothes. I don't know how to explain it better than that. Do you know what I mean? Like he's wearing like long shorts and like a t-shirt that's probably like his kid's school. I don't know. He's just wearing like a dad outfit. And there's
Hat,
nothing wrong
no
with
hat?
that. No hat, just like kind of spiked hair.
Yeah, the spiked hair is
Spiked
cool.
hair.
Move.
So
Yeah, that's a
Anyway.
dad move for sure.
So I talked to everybody and anybody, and
We know this.
I was like grabbing my spinach feta wrap, and the lady was like, oh, like make sure that's yours. And she's like, oh, it is yours, Lauren. And the guy was like, well, you could grab anybody's sandwich and just like eat it, And he says this to me, and I was like, well, I'd hope it's mine because I'd rather have my sandwich than someone else's. Like, I don't know. I'm just like shooting with the breeze of whatever he's saying. And then he says something else about like, I don't know, something else about Starbucks, and I don't remember. I was just like, oh yeah, totally Starbucks. And then he tries to talk to me a third time, and he was saying, what did he say? He goes, oh, well, today's a good day because I don't have the kids with me today, so I'm free. And
Also,
I
this
was just
voice, I really like this voice,
It's
Lauren.
amazing.
yeah, and I go, oh, cool, because I'm like, I don't know what to say. And then he goes, I'm so happy it's hump day today. Wait, it's Thursday. And I was like, I gotta go. And I like grab, and I'm like gnawing on my feta wrap, waiting for my coffee. And I was like, I gotta go. And then I was like, wait, was he like trying to hit on me by this comment of like, I'm so free today. I don't have my kids with me, And I'm like, I was like, I don't know, but I gotta go. So my question is, was he hitting on me,
Mm.
or was he just being friendly?
Andrea said this in the text, and I would agree that I think he was probably just trying to feel you out. So
Yeah.
just getting a vibe for if you were like engaging with him and stuff. So I definitely think that was probably what he was going for. I don't think it was just like a friendly, like, oh, let's just chit chat.
Yeah. Especially if you tried multiple times.
And was like, I don't have my kids with me today. Like, I don't know. It's just like, okay, so they're with your ex-wife? Like, who are they with? Who are your children with?
Like, I am concerned.
So, anyways.
Yeah. I feel like he was feeling it out, which, good for him.
Good for him. But I ran with my
Smart
spinach feta wrap.
Smart man, as we always say.
Yeah. But also then my other question is, am I just hoping people are flirting with me that really are not flirting with me? Maybe that's it.
If he was like attractive, somebody wanted like to be talking to you, then maybe, but a random dad, I don't think you're subconsciously like, oh, I really hope he's hitting on me right now.
No.
I do think it's funny because Lauren either has a vibe where she's super approachable and everyone talks to her, or she has a vibe where people are scared.
Yeah, it's literally one or the other. It's extremes. It's not in between.
So if I was there in person, I'd be able to give you a better analysis of like what vibe you were in, but
yeah,
it is kind of funny. I've seen both.
Yeah. I'm always just like, I don't know what's happening, but here we are. Gotta go.
Except for the ladies, you're like usually approachable with, but with guys, it's like, yeah, you could be one of those two modes, which is kind of funny.
It is always funny. And it's always the weird guys that somehow I end up talking to. They're all weird. I'm like, oh gosh. So yeah. There you go. Nice
Way to
and
go.
easy.
Way to get that Starbucks order and just, go on your merry way.
Yeah, just chit chat it up and I gotta go. Bye-bye.
There was a time in our lives where Lauren was working at Starbucks and she would bring home food and I don't think it was allowed.
No, I know people that have done that.
Ray. Okay, everybody
Katie
listening,
did that.
That is not true. They would throw out their food that was going to be expired, as in like they wanted their food to always be fresh, so they'd throw it out, or you could take it home. And so I'd take it home.
Oh, I thought they didn't want you to take it home, but you told them like
told them what?
Never mind. That you were gonna give it to the homeless or something.
No. So sometimes I did give my food to the homeless, but I was allowed to.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
You're like, my roommate's basically homeless. She just moved here. She has no job.
You know what? I do remember because this job was like over a decade ago that I did it.
This is a while.
They did have a policy that they would throw out any of their like expired food, which is totally fine. They just have really high standards. Yeah. And so I think our team was like, we're not just gonna let this go to waste. Like, you guys can take whatever, just don't tell anybody. And so I think that's what it was, because they would throw trash bags of food away. And so then I would sometimes give it to the homeless, and then sometimes I'd give it to us that's basically homeless.
We kind of were.
Literally were like, no money.
Borderline homeless.
I remember paying for rent. Oh my gosh. When I had two other roommates, my rent was like $200 a month.
I was just gonna say, I think we were paying $250 a month.
I was paying like $250.
Yeah, when it was us four in that apartment,
and that was still painful at that time. It was still like, that's a lot of money.
Oh my gosh,
inflation.
Yeah. It's so funny. We were just wild. Just wild kids back then.
Yeah.
We're like, for the poor, for Jesus.
Poor for Jesus?
We're
Oh,
poor. We're poor for Jesus.
I thought you said for the poor for Jesus. And I was like, wait, what's happening?
You're
What is
like,
she
wait.
saying?
I know, it kind of fumbled while it was coming out of my mouth.
That's it. Completely fine. Well, there's a note on that. I was hoping someone flirted with me that was an awkward dad. But what are we talking about today, you all?
Andrea?
I was gonna say, speaking of communicating to the people next to you at Starbucks, I was trying to segue that.
That was good.
We're talking about communication today. And yeah, we're just going to talk about, per usual, throw ourselves under the bus a little bit, tell you how we used to be bad at it, maybe still sometimes are bad at it, and what we've learned from navigating all different stages of dating, because we've all navigated the early stage. I'd like to get out of the early stage myself, but it's okay. It's fine. It's still here. I can speak from the ground floor. And then like when we've been more committed, and then even more serious where you're like kind of talking like about engagement and stuff. So we're going to try to hit each phase, what communication looks like, what kind of things you're working through, and just give you like a little rundown. So yeah, anything you guys want to add?
No, that's a good start. Should we start with some stories of how we sucked at communication?
For sure.
Let's do
Do
it.
you have some ready?
Oh,
Ready to go?
Sure. I mean, there are too many to count. That's the sad thing.
I know.
Pick one of your top favorites.
Okay, I've got two in the queue.
Okay, great.
So I remember in high school. This is high school, Lauren, but I think it helps kind of like my personality is like I would build a relationship, and then when I decided, I don't like something about them, I was just like, we're done. Like no communication period. Like I'll just cut you out basically.
Yeah.
Like no room for back and forth, any of that. And so this kills me, but I'll share. There's this precious guy that I was talking to for like a year that lived in another state.
This was high school?
High school, Lauren.
Wow.
This was like junior to senior year. And we were like best friends. And he came with his parents to visit me from Ohio. And I thought it was kind of weird because I'm like, we're adults. Why are your parents coming? And he was like, oh, my parents just want to like come like see Indianapolis. And I was like, no, they want to come meet me, which felt really intense to me at the time.
And this was high school.
This was high school.
Okay,
and so instead of me like communicating, this feels really intense, I was just like, okay, it'll be fine. And so like we ended up having lunch with his parents, which really felt intense because we hadn't physically like seen each other for like a year. We met at camp. And so, and
Camp Crush.
Yeah. And we didn't have FaceTime at the time, any of that. So which is kind of crazy to think about. I feel aged. So
did you Skype him?
We would do iMessaging, by the way, and we do the physical phone. And sometimes I'm like, is my mom on here listening? Because it was like landline phone.
Oh my god.
What I mean? Until we got our phones and we text each other off the phones. Okay, so he comes, his parents meet my parents. It is like, so it's too much. It's too much, all of it. And I was just kind of like, okay, like I don't like how intense this is. So I don't tell him this. I just break up with the guy. Like I don't talk through anything. I just go, I don't think like we're a good fit. Like I just made up these reasons. Like I don't even remember fully, but I just made up reasons instead of having real conversations with him. And he was heartbroken. And he was like, I was gonna ask you to prom, all these things. I'm like, nah.
Prom.
I know. I was gonna ask you to prom, all these things. I was like, nah, we're good. Bye. And just so intense. And I've had a theme of that where I would just get to a point where I didn't like something and I would just cut them out of my life. And that happened to different guys in college, and that happened to different guys even after. And I think I'll share more of like what I've learned over the years, but it was almost not realizing like I can create pain in other people's hearts. I was more just protecting my heart through my communication and lack of communication, and kind of expecting the guy to do everything when realizing, oh, this is a two-way street. So they don't know what's in my head. And also there's always room for like negotiation or change. And I was very black and white in my thinking of just, oh, this is just who you are. And if I don't like it, then I guess we just don't talk or date. And so, yeah, really sad. I'm so sorry to that high school man, but I know his life is lived well now. He's good to go. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
We're
There you go.
sorry, buddy out there.
I'm sorry, buddy. I feel so bad still. I'm like, should I write to him? I'm sorry. I think I did apologize to him in college. I'm pretty sure I was like, I'm sorry. That was bad. So.
Yeah. Oh, I do feel like the guys who like were ready for a relationship early got it pretty brutal from the ladies. Like, I don't know. I had a couple guys like that I was like, you actually probably would have been such a great boyfriend. And I was just like so immature without realizing I was immature, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So terrible. And I think at that age too, you're kind of like, the world is my oyster. I'll meet a ton of other guys.
Totally.
So I don't like something. I don't want to have conflict. Goodbye. And not realizing like, oh, you're going to have conflict in every single relationship. That's just part of life.
Yeah. So, no, you take it for granted for sure.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, Kalli or Dre, any stories of how you sucked at communication?
Yeah, I can jump in there.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Let me tell you. So, as I've told you guys many times, didn't have a boyfriend early on in the dating scene, but just with like getting to know certain people, had some funny times. So, pretty big avoider of conflict and hard conversations in the beginning. And I remember this one guy, and this was like ministry school days. But I remember this one guy was in like the same group as me. And we were like kind of like just like friendly at first. And then I think we went to coffee and he had just kind of phrased it as like, hey, I would just like to get to know you. It didn't feel like a date. And so we grabbed coffee, and then after that he kind of like started following me around more, and he didn't like really communicate with me like, hey, I'm interested in you, but I was just like really afraid that he was. And so I just spent like a lot of time avoiding him instead of just having a conversation with him. And it kind of bled.
We all did this.
Oh yeah. And it bled into like the next few months, and it just caused me a lot of like, I don't know, just I'm like, I could have avoided the uncomfortable feelings if I had just had a conversation with this guy, but I didn't. I was like 19. So I just like would avoid him when I see him, and eventually he like called me out on it, which was
good for him.
Good for him, honestly. He like pulled me aside one day and was just like, hey, like it kind of feels like whenever I'm like come around, like you find a way to like leave or just like not talk to me. And he's like, I don't know if I did anything wrong, but I just like wanted to like see if that is what was going on. And so I just kind of owned it. I was like, yeah, I'm like, I'm really sorry. Like I was thinking that you maybe had feelings for me, and I don't have feelings for you, and I wasn't sure how to communicate that. So I'm really sorry if my behavior was like kind of painful. And he was super mature guy. So he was just like, oh yeah, like that's totally fine. But he's like, yeah, if you would have just like talked to me, like I would have appreciated that.
Oh, whoa, this guy is mature.
Such good communication on his side.
I know. He was
way to own it though, too, Kalli.
Yeah. It's like I felt like I was caught.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Good job at Kalli as well. I was like, that guy did great.
He really did though. Props.
He did a good job. So that was like a really good moment for me to just be like, oh, okay, actually in the long run, because I think you can think that avoiding will solve something, or like you won't have to deal with the problem. But a lot of times it prolongs it and makes it worse when you do have to deal with it. So I feel like that one taught me like, okay, rather than avoiding these things, if I just like address them, it'll save me a lot of time and effort and uncomfortable feelings. So
That's really good.
yeah.
Yeah, that is good. I think I didn't realize what a bad communicator I was until I dated a good communicator. And I
There
was
you
like,
go.
oh, this is what you can do? Like, it was kind of like that quote in The Office when Kelly's like, Daryl always tells me exactly what he's thinking and feeling. Like, what kind of game is that? Do you remember?
Yes.
That's
I remember when
so
she says that.
good.
Yes.
That was me. I was like, what is this guy doing? Just talking to me directly about every single thing. Like, he was almost, you could say, an over communicator, but it just showed me like we were like also really good friends before we had gone on some dates, and so I knew a lot about just his like internal process with things, and it just kind of blew my mind. Like, I was like, oh, like that's why he communicates, is because like it really makes things less like swirly or less
Yeah.
emotional. Like, it makes things feel less intense, because instead of being like, I wonder if they're feeling this, or I wonder what this means, or I wonder, like, you literally just ask them and have a conversation about it, and you can move on with your life instead of trying to like guess everything. So that was kind of wild. And honestly, I feel like just dating in general and being with guys that were better at dating than I was, to kind of show me like, oh, actually it feels really nice when a guy like just tells me how he's feeling, or has like check-ins. I feel like that's something we all do now, is try to have check-ins, like, how
Mhm.
are you feeling about things, like, and then you get to share how you're feeling. And it's so nice to have that kind of regular way to just bring things up, because it's not, I don't know, it's not always, doesn't always happen naturally. Like, you kind of do have to like make space for it. So yeah, but I will say the reason I was bad in the beginning is because I thought it was so weird. I think because I like I'm a little better now, but I was just super avoidant attachment style. And so I just wanted loads of space. And so all the communication and like just amount of like there he was felt so uncomfortable to me, because I was like, I want like space, like I want like a bunch of time in between texting and all this stuff. And which I do think there is an element of that now, because I'm still a little bit, I am wired that way. So sometimes I feel like Lauren was saying, like, I'll just, if I need things to move a little bit slower and I do need a little bit of space in the beginning, I'll just ask for it. And, but I also, I think, am better at owning, like, this is my stuff that, like, I feel like I need loads of space. Like, and like, so how can I push myself a little without but still like kind of ask for what I need, because there are people that just jump into relationships and they feel comfortable with that. And and so I think if you're dating somebody whose speed is just completely different from you, you kind of more like meet in the middle, I guess. It's not necessarily like one person's speed has to win. Like, you don't have to slow it way down if one person is kind of dragging on their feet, and you don't have to speed way up. Like, you can kind of find a pace in the middle where maybe you're both a little uncomfortable, but it's good. So yeah, there's probably some more like like really obvious examples of me being bad at communication, but that's the first one that came to mind, was like, wow, I didn't realize I sucked at this until I was with someone who's really good at it. So yeah.
Did he call you out on that at all, or how did you guys kind of navigate that situation?
He called me out a little, just because He did kind of say like, it feels like you want me to play games with you.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Love
Yeah,
that.
That's
and he
good.
was like, I don't want to play games. Like, this is how I'm feeling. I just want to be able to say it. And so,
Wow.
yeah, and I was
Mic
like,
drop.
oh, I want you to play games and act like you're not interested because it scares me how interested you are. So, yeah,
That's so
kind of funny.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that
Lord.
push and pull, people like that, especially
yeah.
different attachment styles. Like, you love the we can love the games. I really went after guys that were like emotionally unavailable for a long time because of that, and I would chase, and they never were interested. So
Yeah. Or high
see,
school me kept many guys like at arm's length, but still close enough, just like arm's length.
Mhm.
Like I was like, don't totally go away, but like don't totally come close either.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
See,
a lot
I
of
did-
flirty friendships.
I did not like guys who I felt like were playing games with me. That turned me off. I was like, nope, that's not what I want. So,
Mm.
so
Well, I think
interesting.
it depends
That's
on the
because
game.
you don't play
I think.
games, Kalli.
Yeah, I don't play games.
I feel like it depends on the game because in that moment, no, I'm
No,
serious.
I'm laughing. We've never talked about games, but this is so fun. What's your game, Dre?
Yeah.
Tell us the game you play.
Bananagrams.
Because I don't like when guys are like manipulative, but I think
we don't like that.
I think like if I had asked for what I wanted in like a healthy way, it would have sounded something like, "Hey, I think it's great that like you're really excited about this. I'm still trying to figure it out. I need a little bit more space." But how I don't even remember how I communicated it, but I probably just needed the pacing to slow down a little bit. I don't remember how I communicated it, but however I did made him feel like like I wanted him to like play hard to get when he didn't feel like that, like he was like like it was almost like I was more comfortable with him being like emotionally unavailable when he was like actually very emotionally available. So
Yeah.
I think he just felt like I wanted him to be something that he wasn't. So
Yeah.
but really I just needed some space probably, or I just needed to slow things down.
And communicating that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I really sucked at for a long time, and I'm still working on it, I think I've improved a lot, is what I would do is when I was dating someone, is build up a lot of different things that I needed to talk through that were like hard conversations or pinpoints or whatever. And I would like kind of build this whole thing, all this anxiety or pent up stuff, and then kind of just like not explode in an angry way. I've always been very like peaceful in my communication, but I'd be like, okay, we need to talk through this, all in one conversation.
Yeah.
And like maybe wait weeks to talk about these things instead of, it's a little bit nicer when you just go after like one or two things at a time and kind of address it as soon as possible and not let it build to something that is way bigger than maybe what it needed to be. Because I would have let these situations, because I don't like rocking the boat in a relationship. I don't want conflict. So I'm this peace person, and so I'll just like keep it at bay, but then I would then try to be like, oh, it's fine. Then I'm like, it's not fine. And then have to talk through everything. And so that was really overwhelming for different guys I dated. Instead of just being like, oh, hey, this is kind of going on in my head. Like, can we talk about this? And I think I've gotten way better with that, of just kind of really addressing as soon as possible something, because I realized the quicker I can address something that's building a wall between me and the person I'm dating, the faster then we can like reconnect with each other. And so if I'm starting to feel this disconnect, okay, how do I engage in connecting with them? Well, it's going to be through having conversations, and that's going to help us, because half of these things are assumptions in my head, or they just have no idea that what my needs are that I'm not voicing, because they can't read our minds. And so I've learned how to like voice like, hey, this is kind of going on in my head, or this is what I'm thinking, or all that. And I did not know how to do that for a really long time. And that
Mhm.
created these like kind of really hard conversations that were just not fun. And not that any hard conversation is easy, but it was just like too much. Like I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be so hard to have
Yeah.
like all these things in one conversation.
Yeah.
So
For both of you guys, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
yeah.
Did you feel like you came into those conversations like genuinely wanting to work it out, or did you feel like you came into them kind of like, hey, like here's why we're probably not gonna work?
It honestly depended, and I think
Okay.
sometimes I was more combative, like, or defensive, you know, of like I gotta defend myself, you know, I gotta
Yeah.
make sure they really know what's going on. And I think that's just not the posture. And so seeking to understand, like, you know, something that was going on between us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that comes with time and maturity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Still working on it over here in some ways.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, should we talk about communication when we first start dating? What are some good communication tips that we've learned that we've seen work really well in building trust and building a relationship?
Yes. Not
Yeah.
ghosting is what I would say.
Dre's really good at that. And Dre's really good at communicating when she's like, okay, we're not going to continue.
Yeah, well, yeah, I wasn't always great at it, but I do feel like I've gotten better because I got ghosted a couple times. And it was like when somebody peels the band-aid off like slowly and you're just like just rip the thing off, you know? Like just tell me I'll get over it in a day instead of like waiting for
Dragging it
2
on.
weeks to figure out why you're not communicating or like,
Yeah.
you know. And so, yeah, once I was ghosted a couple times, I was like, this is the worst. Like, I'd rather just be honest with people, you know. But, yeah, I will say, like, sometimes I feel like you can kind of feel it, like we're mutually just not interested. And if neither of us follows up, like, I don't really do anything with that. Like, it's like if you're not interested, it's not like you need to be like, hey, just so you know, I'm not interested, you know? Like, the only time I say that is if I can tell that he like would like to follow up and is trying to like engage again in
Yes.
conversation, then I'm like, oh, I can tell, you know. But otherwise, it's like if you're both kind of not feeling it and you leave the date kind of like, I don't know, and then neither of you reach out, like it's not like I'm like I do feel like there's a little bit of like an art form to it, you know, like it's but some of the really, really, really communicative people out there maybe want to communicate every single thing, which that's an approach, you know, you can do that. So
Yeah. I would say definitely if you've had like an in-person date or two, there should probably be some form of communication of like yes or no.
Yeah.
yeah. Wait, okay, so if you go on a date with a guy
Mm-hmm.
and you both like have like a okay time, like there's not any like amazing chemistry,
I think you should give it at least one more chance.
but okay, but so you reach the end of that date and
Okay.
he just kind of says, it was nice to meet you, like love chatting, and then you guys get in your car, you drive away, and he never says anything. What do you do?
I think for me, I would have just been like, thank you so much for the dinner. Thank you for paying, blah, blah, blah. And at least leave it at that and see if
Oh,
they
yeah,
follow
that's
up.
what I would
And I
do.
would leave it there. But I would still
Yeah.
communicate something, even if it's not
Yeah.
like, hope this happens again. But I
Oh,
would hope.
you mean like you would text that?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, okay.
Or tell them in person. But I usually follow up always like after dates of like, thank you so much for da 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 da, or so nice to meet you. At least just that. But that's just me. And then of course there might be one if I like have been interested in a guy, I'll like wait on them, but I'll also be like, hey, I don't mind being like, hope we meet up again. Usually though, it's been the guy, like it's been more mutual or we both have been like not. I don't know. I've had
Yeah.
sometimes that guys have been like, nope, I'm not interested still.
Yeah. If I'm not interested, I'll usually end it like, hey, thanks for your time. Like, thanks for dinner. Like, it was really nice meeting you. And
Yeah.
if he also ends it like that, I don't follow up because why would I don't like
no, there's no need there. I understand now what you're saying.
Yeah. Kalli, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I would do the same. I would just probably send a text, be like, thank you for dinner, nice meeting you, and leave it.
Have a good life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe if he were to message back and be like, I would like to go out again, maybe I'd give it another chance. Or I might just be like, hey, I don't think so, but like, thank you for the date we had.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. With early on dating, okay, so Dre and I differ in this. Kalli, actually, I'm not sure where you're at.
Do we disagree?
You'll hear why.
Okay. I've been waiting to disagree on the pod.
Oh, you'll know exactly when I say this. Fight. When I'm first dating someone, I love lots of texting and talking on the phone, FaceTime. I love the banter. I love like getting to know people through like a lot of communication, and maybe that's just my personality is like, let's chit chat all the time. And like, you know, Andrea's at times gotten texts from guys she's just met that say good morning to her, and she's like, what the heck?
Thank you for bringing
They said good morning.
I've been waiting to bring this
and
up
I'm
on
like,
the pod.
oh, I would totally be like, good morning. Like, what are you eating? Oatmeal? Me too. Like, I'm like, I want to know what they're eating. Do they eat healthy? If they're not, we're not talking, you know?
We're done.
We're done. No, I don't.
Ghosted.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to know when you're going to the gym and how often, you know? So I enjoy texting, which is hilarious because now I'm dating a guy that is not good at texting and not good at talking on the phone. So it's changed. But
Also,
it's just like
a little shout out on the side there.
Yeah, I have a boyfriend. That's all.
Whoa.
Okay. I don't know if you've told us that yet.
You haven't even said that to us.
Yeah, he's my boyfriend.
Live on the pod, she just says it.
Lauren.
I feel like you guys know.
All that to say, you guys, I am the last one single in the friend group. It's official.
Wow. I mean, I with the same reaction.
You all know I have a boyfriend.
Lauren.
We did it.
No, we did not know. You have to communicate these things, Lauren. You can't just like assume that we're gonna figure it out.
She just told us.
They know I've been dating this guy. They know that I've been dating him.
I sent you guys a
we
picture.
didn't know the DTR happened.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the DTR is for real.
She's like, I sent you guys a picture of us eating ice cream. Clearly, that means he's my boyfriend.
Also, she's been sending us
around here.
She's been sending us like questionably couple-looking pictures with this guy for a long time. Okay, so it's not like all of a sudden like, didn't you see that picture of us? Yeah, Lauren, we've seen the last 95 pictures of you guys. You look like a couple in all of them.
Yep.
Let's just say there's always a journey with dating.
We're gonna put that on a mug. There's journey with dating,
especially if your name is Lauren Bornique.
Wow.
So, anyways, on that note, let's get back to what's important.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
I'm derailed right now.
Suck at communicating, I guess.
Yeah. What a great time to talk about this.
Wow, I'm glad the world can be a part of all this. Okay, so anyways, back to us.
Wow. Okay, early communication.
Early communication.
We're still early, right?
I just was saying I always liked texting a lot. And Dre, you would be like, I don't want to text a lot. I don't want to talk too much.
Yeah.
So
well, you
tell
have
me about
crushes because you have a crush on people right away.
Yeah, totally.
And
I also like high volume communication, but you like kind of you're strategic in how you go about it. You're like, I'm not going to talk to you a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, I like to scale it slowly because I do like it eventually, but just not right off the bat because it's like, I think especially because I have been online dating an insane amount. And it is such a roller coaster. And I just like, if I had talked like all day with all of those guys, like that would have been so like it would have been such
No,
an
I'm not
up and
talking to a
down.
ton of people. It would just be like one person at a time.
Well, I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about like even if you go like one at a time, it's like
Yeah.
okay, we're talking all
True.
day. This guy. Oh, never mind. We're different denominations. Like oh, I'm talking all day with this. That's what happens to me all the time.
It's always the denomination that
It's
is
always
the crux.
like magical, and then they're like, so let's talk about how women can't preach and they need to stay home in the kitchen. And then I'm like, like,
Breastfeeding.
why did we just talk for 3 days nonstop? You know.
Anyway,
I think
whatever.
you're
It's
smarter. I
fine.
think you're strategic. I think
I just my little heart like can't take the up
Yeah.
and down of it, and so I look for ways to like manage it because I'm like I can't be like in boyfriend mode with this guy and then find out that like we have this huge thing that we don't agree on.
Yeah,
that's like
I think it's
a deal breaker.
I think you're wise. Not saying that one way is. It's okay if you want to chit chat with somebody up front, but for some, I think it's like wise for their heart, like you're saying, protecting it.
Yeah. My little heart can't take it so much. So I'll just more like slowly let. And I'm just like this in general though, like with people, it takes a minute for me to let people in because once you're in, it's really hard to get rid of me. So like
Amazing.
I'm so loyal that like I have to be careful, Imagine if I just threw that loyalty around.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Scandal.
Imagine if I didn't like filter people. So anyway, yeah. But also I like how you outed me that I was talking to multiple guys. Lauren's like, yeah, you would not have been able to handle all those conversations at once.
That's not what I meant. I'm just like, that's a lot. I understand. I'm like, yeah, one at a time. I'd be overwhelmed. You're right. I'm like, whoa.
The scores of men that Andrew is talking
Scores
to.
and scores. I've given up men right now.
Oh, thank you for communicating that.
Yeah.
Okay, Kalli, do you have anything initially when dating
Kalli?
about communication? We've talked a lot already.
Let's see.
How do you feel about good morning texts, Kalli?
I also don't like them until I'm in a relationship. I will say
Lauren's face.
or like if you're getting to that point, like
yeah.
In the early stages, I'd say I'm a mix of Andrea and Lauren with this. Like in the early stages, I do love a lot of texting because it's just like fun and it's bantery. You're getting to know each other, seeing if you jive. So I love that.
Thank you.
But it is funny because my boyfriend recently called me out on our texting because he texts me like just a lot of his thoughts and like random things throughout the day. I do these things. And right now I have a job where I am like talking to people all day, like either email or texting. And so it just is a lot of energy for me to like also be doing it as much as he does. So it was really sweet the other day. He's like, yeah, now I know I'll text you and I'll probably hear back from you in like 2 or 3 hours. And that's okay. He's like, I don't take it like personally. I just
That's
know.
actually a good response time,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I was going to say, I'm impressed, Cal.
Well, thank you. Wow.
He gets a better response time than we do.
Yeah.
I don't expect anything. There was one time
I have
Kalli
some expectations.
There was one time
okay.
There is one time Kalli texted before 5 p.m. and I was like, this is a treat. I just saw it as a treat.
Yeah, we're just thankful. I feel entitled because I got so much of Kalli's attention for 5 years.
That is true. Andrea was like my number one, like texting. So now it's like,
but even just like we would see each other, we like
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lauren's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, Kalli, it's been 2 days. Where have you been?
And she'll say it. Dre
Yeah,
will
I
voice these
will.
things. Wow, we're going on to communication about our
Yeah.
relationships right now.
Yeah.
We need to go back to dating. We
Back
need
to
to help people
dating.
out.
Back to dating.
Back to
But
dating.
anyways, so
I
yes,
hope
I'm
you
like,
feel my love for you, Kalli.
I do
Okay,
feel that.
Good communication.
Thank you. But when it comes to texting, I'm like a mix of, a bit of both. But especially in the early stages, I like a lot of texting. And then, as it's, as it turns out, I chill out a little bit on the texting when I'm in a relationship.
Yes,
I didn't know how I'd be. Now this is what it is. So
it is. We've gotten old. No, I'm checking.
I will say, even there's a sweet spot where I enjoy a lot of texting too. And when I was in a relationship, actually, I liked texting every day for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're talking about beginning stages right
Okay.
now.
Right. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, okay. We did talk about texting though. Is there anything else in early stages of dating? Definitely communication about like your intentions is really nice. And you're, especially when the guy starts that conversation of like what the intentions of the relationship are.
Yeah.
It's so nice. And we've said this in multiple podcasts, like just stating like when we're going to meet, like what our schedules look like, just asking really good questions. That is like, if I had one tip for you all, it would be ask good questions. Like someone who's asking you good questions, you're asking them because this is like the discovery phase. You're like, are we compatible? Are we attracted to each other? Do we have, a good time together? So if you can, figure out that communication, and then of course, body language is huge. Like, are they, I don't know how, like you have chemistry and your time together, do you enjoy? And so those are a couple of things I'm thinking of that you want to think about communication wise in the beginning of the relationship or dating stage.
Yeah. And we've said it before, but don't be on a job interview. Like, don't have a list in your head and you're just asking them stuff so you can check yes or no on your list.
Yeah.
Like, people can feel that. Just get to know people, like, and it's like, people can feel when you're kind of just like using them as a means to an end, like for your own, like, I don't know. It has a different feel to it. So, I come to every date like, you know what? Like, no matter what happens here, this guy is a human, and like, I'm gonna figure out like what his story is, and I'm just gonna be curious about who he is as a person, because at the end of the day, like, I feel like when you are a believer too, it's like he's made in the image of God. Like, he's like, if Jesus was here, this is the kind of conversation he would have. Like, he would just love the person in front of him and be intentional and sit with him. And so anyway, I try to come with no agenda as much as possible, even though you do have a little bit of like, you're trying to feel out chemistry or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's good. I think something you mentioned, Lauren, a little bit ago was like check-ins. And I think when you start like dating and then you get into a relationship, like those kind of checkpoints are really helpful. Like early on when I was just like going on dates with my now boyfriend, I remember we'd been going out for like maybe like about a month, maybe a little less than. And one of our dates, he just asked me, he's like, hey, like, I just wanted to check in with you and kind of see like where you're at with us going on dates. Like, are you enjoying them? And we just got to have like a good conversation. And I was like, yeah, like, I'm really enjoying getting to know you and I want to keep doing that. And he's like, I feel the same. Kept going on dates. And then eventually he was like, we talked about like getting in a relationship, and we were like, yep, let's do that. And then, so there's like that kind of like with the pacing of getting into a relationship, but then there's also just kind of like, emotional checkpoints of like, I don't know whether you've had a hard conversation or something's like gone on in your world that's like affected your relationship, just being like, hey, just wanted to like see how you're doing with like this given circumstance or whatever it is. But just having those kind of touch points is really, really helpful. And then you don't have to wait to like have it build to a certain spot. It can just be like a quick little like moment every, how often you need it. But it just makes it really nice. And I think just like seeing where you're both at, if you're on the same page or if you're on different pages too, like that's just good to know. So yeah, it's helpful.
It's good. Well, should we talk about more the intermediate phase? So you're dating, maybe saying boyfriend, girlfriend, going on multiple dates.
You should not just leave people in the dark. You should definitely have the conversation with them about being a girlfriend.
Yes.
Or boyfriend.
Yes. True.
Not like how Lauren just told us she had a boyfriend and assumed we knew.
Just assumed.
You should have the conversation.
You all, like I said, I'm on a journey.
Down.
I'm on a journey.
Oh my goodness.
Everything's happening so fast.
And what a whirlwind.
What a
Whirlwind.
constant whirlwind.
So.
Yeah, anyway, but for real, you really should have that conversation and don't just like start calling them. I had a guy that started calling me his girlfriend to other people, and I was like, wait,
what? You're like, we
maybe
need to talk about this.
We should talk about it first, because I would have said
to me.
no. Yeah. I was like, I actually don't feel ready for that yet. Like, so anyway, yeah, have the conversation and that. And the other thing is, like, I feel like you have to make space for them to be in a different spot as you. Like, I've really appreciated when guys are like, hey, here's where I'm at. I am done dating other people. I'm ready to just exclusively date you. I just want to let you know that that's where I'm at. And that actually feels so good, creates so much safety, and is so nice when they're not like, I need you to be there too. Like, because, yeah, I mean, most of the time, I am also there at the same time they are, but it's nice when they're like, I'm just telling you where I'm at and feel free to be wherever you are, but like, we just need to be on the same page about, what we're doing here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good. It's like having open communication of like where you're at throughout the whole process. Like I was saying, having actual check-ins and understanding what that looks like for them. Like, what does dating look like for you? What is your past relationships? There's a time and space for that.
Yeah.
I would say not early on. I would say that's some people, they love to talk all about their like exes. And I'm like, I'm very careful how much I talk about my exes, because you don't need to put that in their brain, like who are they comparing against, but sometimes you do need to share like, okay, this is some of my story of like how I dated or negative things that have happened while dating, and but this is a completely different person, and so I think as much as possible, like understanding like what does dating look like for them and how they've dated, and then also for you, what does dating look like and how you want this relationship. And some people's relationships just like progress really quickly, and so they're kind of like, oh, we're dating, oh, we're getting pretty serious pretty quickly. And then some people need to say like, hey, we need to slow down the brakes, like we need, or slow down, put some brakes on this. There we go. I was like, pump the brakes. There we go. I was like, what am I saying? Put some brakes on this and like slow down a little bit and just date some more, date longer, and take time.
Yeah.
And so just having conversations like that helps of just knowing like, this is where I'm at, where are you at? How do we like meet in the middle, or how do we compromise when it comes to dating one another? I think it's important. And then of course you're starting to talk about communicating like your values when it comes to like sexuality, spirituality, politically, like all these get to know you things that you're communicating while dating in the beginning, to again see if you're compatible, but also like how do we share this as we're dating one another, inviting community into it, and all that.
Yeah, I would say the main thing I've learned with communication is if I'm anxious, usually it's because I'm holding something in that I need to communicate. Or if I'm like, oh, we need to just break up, it's like, okay, why? Like, is there something that we actually just need to work through? You know what I mean? So I would say you just want to be open and honest. And especially when you're in the relationship phase, like you're basically signing up to talk through things with this person. Not so much in the early dating phase. I think you're more just trying to figure out if you want to sign up for that. But I think there needs to be a level of like you're committed to like working through things at some level
so
when
good.
you're actually in a relationship. So, and a huge part of that is communication.
If you do not communicate, your relationship will die. Like, period. Like, and that's what people do. They don't communicate and relationships die. If you want to keep your relationship alive, you have to be in constant communication. That doesn't mean every hour, but there has to be a healthy rhythm of connecting, communicating, and that could be in so many different ways, through texting, through phone calls, through being in person, chats, whatever. But that connection is how you're going to have a healthy, thriving relationship. And that's just like, I was thinking about, where was I listening to this? Like, oh no, I think Dre, you said this, that like your time with your girlfriends is teaching you literally how to date. Like, like if I'm not talking to you guys on a regular basis, our relationship is going to suffer, you know? And there's some people that have those relationships, like talk to you in 6 months. Great.
Right. Yeah.
But to have like a thriving, like really growing intimate in that relationship, you have to be in a rhythm of communication. And so, especially with someone you're dating, like you would eventually be living with that person every day. So, and building a family, like that's the most important communication line you have. And so just knowing like there is these steps of continually building that rapport with that person.
Yeah. And it's like, I think because I was so independent and I was just kind of raised to be independent, I really had to learn how to consider somebody else, like in my life and the choices I was making and even like the events I was going to. Like, I don't know. I was just so used to like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to go here. Like, and so it was a real transition for me and felt like I had to like lay it down a little bit, the independence to actually grow something with somebody else. So yeah, that's another thing that I think kind of happens in the committed stage is you're like, oh, I'm not just making decisions all by myself anymore, and that's something that like develops over time, like as you get more serious. But yeah, that's I guess the last thing I would say.
So good.
Yeah. Any last thoughts from you ladies?
All
okay,
good. That's
great.
it.
Well, thanks for joining us, you guys. We all found out together that Lauren is a girlfriend, so that was exciting. First
You
time
heard
ever
it
on the
here
pod.
first.
Yeah,
people.
Sorry, everyone. But really, it was just with you all because they don't hear this yet. This is like in the past.
Oh yeah,
when
sure.
the people
We're
listen.
not live streaming right now. I
This
guess,
is
but
like us. It's really just a conversation between us three, just like in our group chat.
Wow.
So it's the same thing.
Can't wait to hear how it actually happened.
Yeah.
The details.
Way to
I don't even know if
your
it
way
did.
out of that.
It literally wasn't. It was just like we're boyfriend girlfriend. That was it. That's the thing.
Wow.
It was not a detailed
On
conversation.
your Dairy Queen date?
We just like have been talking. Like we're like, you're my boyfriend. You're my girlfriend.
Oh my gosh, Lauren.
So they did what Andrea said not to do. They just kind of assumed
They just
their
both assumed
relationship.
and started throwing it around. It sounds like.
Wow.
Everything
Incredible.
not to do. Everything not to
Wow,
do.
incredible.
So
as you
nice.
heard,
Wow.
Lauren's on a journey. She's on a dating journey.
She's on a journey.
I don't follow the rules. It works out.
Oh my gosh. Well, we love you all.
Yep.
And we hope you have a good night. I guess. Learn from our mistakes. Okay, but really, bye. We'll see you next week.
Bye.